Okay, this is my abduction on November 29th of 2015. And this abduction was by Joel, the Reptilian. He is my interdimensional boyfriend. He treats me like shit, though. But anyway, he's back. Okay, so I slept for 12 hours and dreamt like crazy and had this abduction. Then he created a disturbing lucid dream for me after it. I had tons of clear lucid dreams that morning. He took me out of more of a groggy state this time. So instead of taking me while I was completely awake in that split second before falling asleep, he took me when I was a little more groggier. This time he pulled my astral brain consciousness out and not necessarily my astral body, although I still felt completely out of body. I felt him, but I'm not sure if he made me think he took it or if it was actually a virtual reality experience where I thought I felt him pull my consciousness out. Either way, he either did or he created the illusion that he did. Either way, I was out of body. I can at least 95% of the time tell what kind of abduction I am having. And this abduction was about 90% virtual reality and 10% astral consciousness abduction. This is how it started. I was talking to him for an experience while I was in bed, and this is what he gave me. This was a Sunday morning, I believe. Last Sunday. I started off in virtual reality, walking into the living room, my own living room. Walking into the living room, on down the hallway to the front door. While standing in my living room, I looked down the hallway and I noticed my stereo system was at the front door to the right on its normal stand. It's like he moved it over there for whatever reason. I thought, that's kind of weird. The stereo system is in my living room in real life. So I noticed my stereo system and I was like, what the heck? Why is it at the front door to the right? That's not where I have it. But this totally was virtual reality. Like, I couldn't tell the difference from 3D and that experience. You know what I mean? Until I did become conscious later and I knew I was under the abduction. Okay, so no, during some virtual reality experiences, I do not know I'm under the abduction, but later in the abduction, I do know. And sometimes I don't know till I wake up back in 3D that I was under the virtual reality experience. But in this abduction, I knew I was under the abduction after this part. After this first part of the experience, I knew that I was under the abduction later on. Okay. But like I said before, when this experience started, I thought I was still in 3D reality, but later knew I was under the abduction. Okay, back to the abduction. I walked down the hallway facing west to the front door, and right as I got to the front door, I turned around facing east. I immediately became weightless and floated up to the ceiling and started traveling astrally facing east through the back of the house, all the way to the highway, which is called Highway 65. But yes, once I turned around at the front door, I was going east. And I didn't travel very fast, you know, like maybe 20 miles an hour. It was a total blast. I love it when they make me go out of body like that, and I'm just like floating like a freaking bird, like a damn hawk, like a damn crow. I mean, it must be so much fun being a freaking hawk or crow to be able to just glide around for hours and not even have to flap your wings. Total freaking blast. They do that to me all the time in my abductions. They give me great fun like that. And like I say, sometimes I am out of body and sometimes it's just virtual reality where they, you know, they can give you all these illusions that you're out of body and stuff. Okay, so after I floated up to the ceiling and started traveling astrally facing east through the back of the house all the way to the highway. Once we reached the highway, I say we because Joel was with me the whole time. He was behind me basically during this whole abduction. He was either at my side or behind me. So once we reached the highway, we started traveling north. Right here, north. Which would be left. When I'm standing out in my back of my house, left is north. We started traveling north in an astral car that I could not see. We were in a vehicle, but I could not see it. It was like, like a non-physical, invisible car. I would say at that point we were traveling in the vehicle at about 25 to 30 miles an hour, so not really, really fast. While we were traveling, I looked over to my left and I saw a scene that was about to play out. It was as if I was looking through a window and I could still see the border around the scene, but it was blurry for many seconds, which is not unusual when the aliens give me virtual reality experiences. Many times the scene is blurry until they use their technology to clear everything up. Yeah, sometimes when they pop you right into a virtual reality scene, it's blurry for the first few seconds, and then boom, everything becomes totally clear. As clear as this picture right here. So anyway, like I said, many times the scene at first will be blurry till a few seconds later, till when their technology kicks in or whatever, and then everything totally becomes clear as a whistle. I started talking to Joel. I was having these long conversations with him. I wasn't saying a lot of words, but this is what I was saying, basically. I started talking to Joel, who was behind me. When are you going to make things clear? Because at that time, I was looking at that border I was telling you about, and everything was still blurry. So anyway, I was like, Joel, when are you going to make things clear? When are you going to clear things up for me? I know the routine well now. Finally, everything cleared up. And a moving photo was moving from bottom to top very slowly within the window border. I was waiting impatiently. I started talking to Joel again and said, Joel, are you going to show me your face? I was like, are you going to show me your face clearer? Your full clear face this time. Are you going to show it to me? Because it kept moving slowly up to this frame right here, and I kept thinking he was going to show me exactly what he looked like this time. I already know what he looks like, but he's never showed me like plain as day his face, plain as day. And so I was all excited. I thought he was going to show me his face. So anyway, I was like, are you going to show me your full clear face this time? He did not. I know what he looks like though. Finally, the picture moved up very slowly, and it was a photo of me. So yeah, these pictures right here are actually, I didn't really put a photo of me, but these are really me. Finally, the picture moved up very slowly, and it was a photo of me. Then another picture started moving up very slowly, and it was me again. And I was like, dang it. Yeah, it kept being like me, like twice. He showed a picture of me inside the little window border. The reptilians like to tease. Okay, then the window border went away, and he showed me a very clear, colorful scene of nature, grass in the background, and a woman on a bicycle riding by on the street. And she was also going north. We were going north, and she was also going the same direction. We were going, the same direction. Okay, so after the clear, colorful scene of nature, grass in the background, after I saw that and a woman on a bicycle riding by on the street, I started talking to Joel again. As I was staring at the scene, I told Joel, I was just like, wow, this is like looking at high definition TV. It's like I was telling him, it's like, hey, I know all this cool technology you're using on me, and I think it's cool. And I was basically telling him, it's like, wow, this, because I knew I was under the abduction. I knew he was giving me the abduction. And I was just like, wow, this is like looking at high definition TV. When he showed me this nature scene and the woman on the bicycle, I mean, it was totally as clear as a whistle. But it was just awesome how I was having this long conversation with him, but he did not talk back in this scenario. I'm sure he could hear me, but he wasn't talking back to me. But the whole time I was just talking to him forever. Like I knew he was listening, but I could not see his face. But anyway, so I was like, wow, this is like looking at high definition TV. It was so clear, but all of my experiences are very clear. It's just when they give you the virtual reality experiences, sometimes those first few, when they pop you in the scene, those first few seconds or whatever are blurry, and then boom, everything clears up after that first couple seconds. So then finally, he shoved me out of the car facing west. So he shoved me out of the car facing... Oh, no. I'm sorry. He shoved me out of the car facing east. That's what I mean, east. See, this way was north to the left, down Highway 65. And he shoved me out this way. So, whoops, I accidentally put west, but I meant east. He shoved me out over on this side, the right passenger side, which would have been east. So finally, he shoved me out of the car facing east into the grass. Not hard, though, but he booted me out of the car. And I fell back onto the grass. I fell into the grass, then he stood up. I fell into the grass, then I stood up in the grass. I looked down, and all these nasty-looking, huge, thick, centipede-looking worms was darting around the grass. And I was trying hard not to step on them. I mean, they were everywhere. There was mobs of them. Here's a picture I drew of the worm creatures. They were exactly this size, too. They were exactly this size right here and looked similar to this. So that's about, what, 3 inches? They all were about 3 inches or 3.5 inches. But yeah. And yeah, it's kind of weird because the aliens, I heard that they like to put bugs and stuff in your abductions or your lucid dreams. And several months ago, I had this dream, this lucid dream, or virtual reality dream, I guess you could call it, where he, or some reptilian, popped me in the guest bedroom at my mom's house. And there was all these big roaches, I mean like huge roaches, this big, just darting around the floor. And I was like popping them. I was beating them with a broom, and all these layers of the layers, you know, like of their little wings or whatever, all these layers started like flying off of them. It was totally disgusting. And of course, if you've seen that movie, The Men in Black, see, they show how the aliens and somehow roaches go hand in hand. Or, you know, worms, bugs go hand in hand. I know it's weird, but yeah. So anyway, that was my abduction. That didn't take too long to explain, I guess. Thanks for listening.